Hey y'all, I'm coming to you this evening with a banjo gear review and installation video. So I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, but Turtle Hill Banjo Company is selling this device called the Mighty D-Tuner. And this is like a pretty easy install alternative to Keith D-Tuners or Schaller D-Tuners, the actual planetary style. These are a lot easier to fine tune. You don't have to really adjust all the time and mess with set screws like on a regular set of D-tuners. So I'm gonna show y'all how to install these and then show you how they work. They come packaged like this. They're a very streamlined, very unnoticeable on the face of a headstock when you get these put on. That's what I really like about these. They're very low profile cosmetically. So without further ado, I guess we'll get to installing these. I'm gonna have to shift my camera angles around, so I'm gonna have to do this video in segments. But after this, if any of y'all are interested, just holler at Danny Stewart at Turtle Hill. He owns these devices and is selling them. So here we go. Let's put these on this gold tone grandee right here. So the first step in installing this is to actually get it put on the back of the headstock. So you want these keys to be an equal distance between these tuners and these tuners. You can measure, but I'm pretty good at, estimating and just looking at kind of where it would be right in the middle. So these brass tubes actually will move in and out until you set the little set screws in them and lock them into place. So you'll have to move these around a little bit, and you want to make sure that the brass tubes are coming out of the tuning machine here closest to your first and fourth string tuners. You'll see there's more space up here. So you'll essentially just wrap these brass tubes around, and then you'll want to get that right in the middle where you think you're going to want them, directly in the center of all of the tuners. So there's a little backing that you take off of the 3M tape here. And I can assure you that this tape does not damage the back of your headstock, because like I said, I've already had a set of these on this and taken them off just so I can do this video. Alright, that looks pretty much in the center. So I'm gonna push that down to the back of my headstock. It's right in the middle, exactly where I want it. And you'll want to kind of push down on it a little bit for a few seconds. You can immediately begin using these, but the tape, it has a full cure of, I think, like 72 hours or something. So I've got those stuck on there now. Now we'll move on to the next step of the installation. I'll let you check that positioning out there for just a second. You can get it turned right. Yeah. So that is step one. On to step two. So real quick, I'll show you you want these wires to come under the closest string and over. You'll see kind of how those go under the string, because this wire will actually reach over and grab this string, and then this wire will rasp over and grab this string. So the next step, once you've got that put on the back of your headstock, and you've got those tubes kind of where they're supposed to be, you loosen your second and third string. So that's the second step. So now that I've got this installed on the back and I've got these wires going under the strings, I'm going to use this staple. It's just a standard, household staple gun staple that has been trimmed to be shorter, that comes with the kit with the Mighty D tuner. So you use this staple. Now that you've got your third and second string loose, they're pretty easy to manipulate. So you take and put this staple on the strings like that to hold them together. That way you've got some wiggle room to work with here whenever you're connecting your wire hooks to your strings. On to the next step. So now that I've got that staple and everything on there, I might actually take it back off for just a moment, because this needs to be hooked over across. I'll show you real quick. I hooked those wires over top of the farthest string, and now I'll put this back on. I feel like that'll make life a little bit easier in the long run to already have those wires in position. So next, you have to tighten the third and second string, alternating a little bit at a time to keep that staple in the center. I'm going to do it simultaneously because this is a pretty good position to do it from, but ultimately in the end you just want to be sure to keep that staple right in the middle of the headstock. That way it holds the tension, and you're going to put your banjo in D tuning here. I spike my fifth string here. So we've got the staple holding those strings right there, right now, and we're in D tuning. So on to the next step. Okay, so the next order of business is to remove the twist tie and the toothpicks from the actual tuning pegs of the Mighty D tuner. So you see I've took those toothpicks off and that zip tie that was holding those into position. So you want to turn these all the way to the full counterclockwise position. And then you will actually pull the slack out of the, you'll basically pull this brass tube until that hook, that wire hook, is snug up against that string. And this kit comes with a very small Allen wrench. So you'll want to get your Allen wrench on the little set screw on the back. Make sure that the tuning key is all the way, and pull all the slack out, and then tighten that set screw. Just make sure you've got all the slack out and tighten that set screw. And now this brass tube is not going to move anymore, and it's got that hook of that wire all the way up against that string. Let me actually pull it just a little bit more. Yeah, so right there's where I want that one. And now we'll do the same thing on this other side. Pull the slack out. And then tighten the set screw. Yeah. So that is that step. So let's move on to the next one. So now that I've got those brass tubes in position and locked down, we can remove this staple. And if you got all of the slack pulled out, it should have essentially stayed in the same tuning that you had it in. So that's that step. That's pretty easy, removing the staple. So let's move on to the next. All right, so the next step is really easy too. This segment's gonna be really short. You leave those in the full counterclockwise position, and then you tune your banjo to open G tuning. So I'm going to unspike my so that's that. And now you'll see those wires are holding those strings there. So on to the next step. So you're in G tuning, and we've not really talked about these knurled knobs yet. So these are actually what you use to fine tune the throw on the tuners. So we're pretty close to G tuning here. So you'll notice they're already pretty close when they go on. The second string is really close. so I'll leave that alone. Okay, so the third string isn't dropping enough, so what you'll want to do to lower that note is twist this knurled knob to where it comes down. It'll actually move this way, and that's how you adjust your low note. That's pretty easy, y'all. So real quick, I'll pick a tune with y'all. And that is the Mighty D tuner. So as far as my review for this apparatus here, I have to say, you know, as far as, you know, a non-permanent detuner alternative, this is the lowest profile cosmetically of anything on the market, really. And they just absolutely, they have a very smooth throw. You know, a lot of detuners, it's a real fast throw on them. But these things are extremely accurate and have such a smooth throw on them. Yeah, y'all should definitely check these out. Holler at Danny Stewart at Turtle Hill. Y'all have a good one.